This is gonna be a terribly lit video. Oh, I mean, I guess it kind of fits the mood with what I'm going for, or for what I'm gonna be talking about in this video, but it's still not the greatest. It's gonna be dark and somber up in this bitch. Hi. Merry Christmas. It is currently December 26th, 1:12 a.m. And I guess just as a forewarning, this is gonna be a very deep video. Normally what I do, or at least for last year, I was like, oh, I kind of want to change up what I do for like the what I got for Christmas, or what I did for Christmas, or I did a what I did for Christmas instead of a what I got for Christmas. And I don't know, I just found it as a way to change it up. This year round, I guess I just had no motivation to really like film what was going on around me and to like, I guess, show what I was doing. I also wasn't really doing that much, so I guess it made sense, but it's been a more low-key Christmas, I would say. From the past couple years, I didn't really, personally, we didn't really do anything as a family, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I enjoyed staying at home, watching movies, so SD card decided to stop, so I enjoyed sitting around, and just, like, hanging out and stuff, and so, in terms of 2020, so I have basically kind of like one resolution or one goal, and that is to be more honest with myself. And I also put in there like to be more positive. And trust me, like I know this is the time to be that way and to, I mean, be thankful for what's going on in your life. And you know, this is also a time where you kind of like reflect on the year and stuff. And I guess I should start now. If I'm being honest, this has really been like one of the lowest points of my life thus far. Well, not really. It's been a very difficult like month and uh, I guess 9 days, month and 9 days. And like I said, this is kind of gonna be a heavy video, but I'm just gonna like talk and see where my mind goes. So yeah, Merry Christmas, but this isn't really gonna be talking about Christmas. First off, and I feel like this is like the general sense everybody, or the general thing everybody's been saying, at least this Christmas, doesn't really feel like Christmas. It doesn't really feel like the holidays. Didn't feel that way during Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's because like time is just like moving by so fast at this point. Even though the first week I was home, I felt like it was like super slow. And I appreciated that. It was a nice time to kind of just like slow down, you know, just finished my finals and stuff. And I liked how we were just kind of like easing into the break. But now all of a sudden these past 4 days of the week have just gone by just like that in a blur. Don't even remember what I did just 2 days ago, if I'm being completely honest. So that's that. But you know, I just feel like, I guess the older I'm getting, and I've realized this in the past month, it's kind of like I realize how much my view on certain things have changed, especially with Christmas. Like, very thankful for the gifts I got this year, very thankful for my parents and like all of my other family members, along with my friends, for all the gifts that I got. I appreciate it so much, and of course I put the time, or I try to put the time and effort in, you know, ensuring that, you know, gifts are of quality. But I don't know, there's just something about, like, I guess referring back to last year, like I was kind of going into the whole minimalism thing. That thing is kind of like far gone now, but like the whole idea of just like materialism and just like material things, like, okay, sorry, SD card is deciding to be a little bitch, but um yeah, material things haven't really been I'm just kind of, I don't know, I guess as I'm getting older, I really am kind of looking more towards like people and certain, not things themselves, but I guess, you know, more abstract things like of that like are more self-fulfilling. I guess I've just been more looking for that type of stuff rather than things themselves. Again, kind of the people to kind of broaden my perspective on that and to kind of like make me like think like that are the minimalists, which, oh, also one, and this is the person to get me listening to the minimalists, and I don't understand how I could have forgotten him, but Matt Diavella, he was the first kind of minimalist I came across and started watching, and his videos have been very influential on how I think and how I go about my life now. So also I'll link him down below because everybody should definitely watch him. But he is kind of the main person that kind of like be get this whole idea of minimalism and just like simplistic life living life a simplistic lifestyle. So yeah. I definitely recommend checking out. They're kind of only, I'm trying to get into listening to podcasts more, but they were pretty much the only podcast I listened to this year. Also, shout out to Eilish, my former roommate, but she is trying to get me into my brother and me. Phenomenal, funny ass guys. Anyways, so um, yes, material things. I appreciate again all the gifts and stuff that have been getting, and stuff like that. Very, very thankful, but I know deep down it's not like, of course, and I'm thankful that I also don't view stuff like that where it's like I equate my happiness to things. And I guess growing up, that was very much the mindset that I had. And I mean, I'm still kind of that way, but not as much, obviously. And one of those things, like, I'm a big tech enthusiast, so always have been looking for like technology and like making sure I have the most up to date thing and stuff like that. But I guess kind of starting to like reel back and I'm starting to realize that that's not really like I guess my focus anymore. Um, so what else? The main thing that is putting me in my funk is the so me and my boyfriend of almost 3 years are no longer together, and I've done so much self-reflecting over the past like almost month and a half now of just like things that happened in the relationship, things I've learned about myself. And that is the one thing I will say that being in a relationship does do for you, is that it really does teach you a lot about yourself. I mean, just because it's like this person that you're constantly with, this person that you're constantly doing things for, doing things with, and just like you're just, it's the one thing that kind of forces you to give you your all. And I think so I've been in 2 relationships, and again, like, I've learned a lot about how I act with people in general, not just this one individual person, and just how I carry myself as a person. And I'm grateful for the relationships I've had, even though they did, my first relationship, it ended really, like, not as, it didn't end poorly, but it just ended on a bad note. Whereas, this relationship that I just got out of, I, wanted to cut things before we just like ended up like hating each other, which is not what I wanted to do. And it's just I have a lot of free time now, and it sucks because this is the time of the year we're both in college, so like this was the opportune time for us, to like hang out a lot, because we were doing long distance. And again, it maybe it wasn't, it was the distance. We keep saying that it wasn't, but maybe I think, that distance did put a strain on us. We were 10 hours apart. So I do deep down also feel like, that was putting a strain on terms of like how we could comfort one another if we fought, how we were able to talk to one another. And again, I'm great. I don't regret anything at all. And if you're watching this, again, like, I hope you know deep down that like I don't, and I don't know. It's just I've spent like a lot of alone time these past like week, almost 2 weeks I've been home, and again I've liked being able to kind of just like relax again and just kind of like wind down, especially after my first semester of college. And it's been good. I'm very thankful for it, but I don't know. Again, it's a lot of alone time that I didn't really expect, and also just made me realize how much time I really did like put into my relationship. And you know, it just made me think like, wow, like this is what it feels like to be single, because it's been so long. Like I spent pretty much almost all of high school in a relationship, and it's a lot. Again, like a relationship, no matter what, a relationship is going to be hard work, and it's going to require a lot. And thankfully, if you're in a relationship and you don't feel like that, good for you, I guess. Like if you don't feel like it's a job, no, I'm not saying it's a job, and I'm not saying that me like just because I'm can equate it to a job, that it doesn't mean that it's entirely bad. But again, just a lot of like hard work and effort is really required and needed. And I don't know, I don't know. I know I'm pretty young. I'm only 19. Like I have my whole life ahead of me. I live in a city now where there's millions of people to go explore with and to find out what I truly like. And again, like I'm coming from a decently small, medium-sized town with so many people, and I have the whole world technically in front of me now, but it's hard when you've also just for so long built up, you know, certain images and certain like aspects of your future for a while. And it happens when you're in a long-term relationship. Like, what do you expect? Like, especially nowadays, like it really is rare to find a lot of people, in a long-term committed relationship. And even those like that do it, like it's still like a rarity that they come out in the end. And again, props to all those people. I thought I was gonna end up one of those people, and it was kind of rooting for me and my boy ex, but it just wasn't meant to be. So um I don't know. It needed to happen. I keep having to tell myself that, and I keep having to remind myself, and I keep having to, kind of force myself to do things that, I can't do. And just knowing that, and at a certain point, things just become so natural. And again, it sucks at this time, because it's like at this time of the year, because it's like it was spent with this one person. And yeah, that was my mind running. Have kind of been a little bit, I guess, depressed lately, more towards like the second half of the year, and I've didn't really realize it till like a couple of weeks ago, but I have been like kind of down lately. Not lately. It's of course it comes and goes, but I've really struggled with creativity. And again, like it's gotten me, and I know it's this is just the start of like the avalanche. But um I don't know, I guess I've been very hard, and this is a problem I have in general. I'm just very hard on myself, and I had a lot of ideas and plans that I wanted to do in terms of being creative and like putting more creative content that I've been wanting to do for the longest time. And I had the time to do it this past year, but I didn't execute it on my part. So I don't know if it's just the execution. Like I feel like I'm coming up with like really good ideas in terms of like short films or like movies years down the road I would love to do, or just like small like sit down videos like this where I just want to like talk in front of the camera. But for some reason, I don't know. I guess I've just been too hard on myself, being like, oh, it's not going to be good enough when you put that out. I don't know. I really don't understand my thought process, but I don't know. I've just been struggling in terms of creativity. But since I've been home, I have been a little more motivated, just because again I have all this free time now. So I don't know if it was just I thought I had the time, but maybe I didn't in the end. I really don't know. But in terms of my lack of being creative has been really getting to me. And again, like I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life, but it's just knowing that like, what's going to happen when it's like you need to like pay your rent, or, put food in your mouth. Like what's going to happen then? Like, you know. And again, I know I have like my whole career ahead of me, but it's just like little stuff like that that gets to me, where it's just like, come on, man, like how, you got a young, fresh mind that should be oozing out all of these ideas, like, and it is. It's just not doing anything. And maybe like this is why I've decided to choose like screenwriting as my thing, where it's kind of more so like I want to make the ideas and like do and like create like the script and stuff, but then I'll like wait for others to like push it out. But again, like I am a very production oriented person as well and would love to do that. So again, I don't know. Yeah, I've just been really like again, yeah, depressed, I guess, because knowing that the one thing I want to do in my life, and like I guess this also goes with the whole college thing, like oh my god, like a lot of people are really like, you know, being super ambitious and kind of just going with what they want already and just like really doing, what they know it takes to get to where they want to be. And I don't know if it's from living in New York, the hustle culture and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess, I'm a very competitive person, but my competitiveness has also, I guess, lacked because of my like need to want, or my want to slow down and kind of take a break, just because I felt like I was always in that mode in high school. But knowing that other people around me are like, I mean, this is the time where it's like career is like right is like next, and career is right, the next chapter, or the chapter that you're trying to build up to. And I don't know. Again, this is why I'm kind of glad to be home, where like I feel like I could just like fully reset and just again like take off, once I come back for the semester. I was really sad, coming back home. Not that I didn't miss home, because I missed home a lot. But I guess is okay. Moving on from this whole depression from lack of creativity. Um, I live in North Carolina, but I'm going to school in New York right now. Very, very thankful. I've had the best experience of my life while living up there for the past 3, almost 4 months. And I will make a video probably on that, in terms of like my first semester of college and like everything about that. This is gonna spur into a lot of different tangents and a lot of different things. But I guess I was really upset. Of course, like, I'm living in New York, like, a lot of people get to do that, but not a lot of people get to do that. And I wish, like, I was able to, I mean, I could have stayed up north with, like, my family if I really wanted to, but I mean, very glad to come back to more, like, a more relaxed, kind of a more, like, chill environment, I guess, after being, an environment that's just fast paced and very, boom, 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 boom. I stepped off the plane and I live near Charlotte, so I flew into Charlotte and just, I guess, like, just seeing, so my family, we went to eat near Uptown, and I guess just seeing, like, that compared to what I've been used to for the past couple months was just like, oh my god, like, it really, I don't know, I guess I've just gotten a lot of reverse culture shock since being home, as weird as it sounds. I remember, like, um, from being involved in a lot of things and just like getting to know a lot of people, of course. I told them I would tell people how I'm from North Carolina, and they'd be like, oh my god, like, how is the, like, are you like experiencing this whole culture shock? And I'm like, well, okay, so like, no, I was born in Jersey, moved to North Carolina, but we visit every year, so I mean, and we always like find some way to go into the city, so it's not a thing like I'm not used to. I mean, and again, like, I have a lot of memories from when I grew up in Jersey for the short 6 years that I lived there, And again, like I have a lot of memories from like when my family would like take us into the city or like to do something near Jersey City, and then we would see the city right there. Kind of got used to it. It wasn't really something hard to transition to in terms of being in New York, but it was very hard. Of course, like I had to set boundaries for myself and had to use a lot of self-control to not go crazy and to not do a bunch of things. But coming home, again, I'm not in like the deep south or anything, but it's still, you know, southern culture. And I feel like I've just gotten a reverse culture shock where like the way that people dress, the way that people act, the way that people talk, like I love southern, like the one thing I do miss is the southern hospitality. Thankfully, I haven't had like a really brutal like experience with somebody up in New York. Um, Still waiting on that. But I've gotten like I've built a pretty tough shell. The past couple months as well. I don't know if it's also from being up there, but I am a very sensitive person. But thankfully, like I don't take things too personal. So, but I will say like my shell has hardened. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like coming back home. I guess it didn't. Now I'm starting to like look at people differently. I'm not saying like I'm judging anybody. It's just like again kind of realizing what I did grow up around and how it really was like different. That's just like one thing I've found really like funny since being home. Just reverse culture shock. Um and I mean apparently it is a thing, but when I looked it up it had to do with like soldiers and stuff, and I was like, oh. So I mean it's not like anything severe, but it's just kind of like in terms of like how I view my environment. And again, like I very much appreciate growing up in the South, and I'm glad to have grown up. Southern culture, it's mocked a lot. It can be viewed not so highly, but again, in terms of North Carolina, I very much enjoyed growing up in a typical kind of suburban town. I don't really know what I was trying to say with that, but I just thought, again, I just like talking and I just like putting stuff out there sometimes. Holidays have been quite the experience this year. Again, the holidays, I guess, just Thanksgiving and Christmas didn't feel like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Um, but yeah, I don't know. A lot is gonna be changing. A lot has changed in my life already. Also one thing. So I ended up I'm just going through like a whole new I think I'm just going through a quarter life crisis as of right now, but so I didn't leave. Okay, no, it's still there. So I got a nose piercing last Friday. I wanted one before I left for school, but I never got around to doing it just because I just got a tattoo and I just didn't want to like quickly change just like that. I didn't want things to be that, you know, back to back in terms of like what I did, but at the same time like it costs, you know, a lot of money to you know, get stuff like that done. But yeah, this is my little nose piercing that I got. Just a little stud. Maybe I'll work my way up to a ring. I don't know. A lot of my friends have said that they could see me with the ring and whatnot, but yeah, and then I'm getting a haircut because my big lion's mane, this thick bush sitting on my head has grown so much. I haven't gotten a haircut since I left for school, so I think we're gonna rock the mom cut again and go short, but like shorter than what I've been doing. Like we're gonna go like 2 years ago, like where I went like full on like chop. So that's that. So I'm excited for that. And again, I have a lot of things to be looking forward to. Again, I just get really and hopefully and this is the thing I need to get like better at. Like I'm just so damn hard on myself, and I know I shouldn't be. Like I know like I do things that are enough, and I do things that, you know, should be setting me on the right track, but I don't know. There's just like that little demon in my head that likes to get to me and likes to tell me that, you know, I'm doing the complete opposite and that I'm just all around a fucking mess. But yeah, this kind of helped, I guess. This is gonna be, I don't really know. This is gonna be a long video, and this isn't what, you know, I normally do. And again, I gotta know it's the holidays, it's the time to be, happy and to just ooze all of that, joy that should be going around, but not gonna lie, it hasn't really been there, at least for me. And again, like I know I'm validated in how I should, and like I'm how I am allowed to feel. Again, I just want to knock myself down even more and be like, no. So yeah, hopefully more to come. Also, thank you for whoever watches this, who like listens to this. I don't really know what I said for the most part, but if you enjoyed me wallowing in my misery, then you know what to do. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.